Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a 150 million transfer budget to buy 5 new players. Man United will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a new 3-year contract and summer signings despite the Europa League final loss. The summer transfer window opens on the 9th of June, so it's not long now till it opens. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. It's very imperative he gets the players he wants to recommend in. If we can recruit well in the summer transfer window, I think we can challenge for the Premier League title next season. Next season is huge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he is aware of that. He's got to exceed expectations next season if he is to remain Manchester United manager, because if things start to go wrong, then he will be back under pressure. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not yet won a trophy as Manchester United manager. We haven't won a trophy for 4 years. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Solskjaer has now endured 2 full seasons at Man United, and he's been in charge for 29 months, which is over 2 years. But no, it wasn't a successful season for Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer accepted that. Now I want to delve into some news on Raphael Varane and Jules Kounde. So Raphael Varane and Jules Kounde have spoke out on their futures. Raphael Varane has come out and said it's unlikely his future will be resolved for the summer's European Championships. Fabrizio Romano did say not so long ago that Raphael Varane is the main name on our list, and waiting to see what happens with his situation at Real Madrid. Man United have already held talks with Raphael Varane's representatives. Now, towards the end of the season, he said that Real Madrid rejected a £40 million bid because Real Madrid are demanding £60 million for Raphael Varane. Liverpool, not so long ago, held talks with him. At one point, he said that Chelsea were the favourites to sign him. He says Chelsea were prepared to pay £61 million. I heard that Real Madrid are closing in on the signing of David Alaba from Bayern Munich. But Varane did say that he wants to make a move to the Premier League. His contract talks with Real Madrid stalled a while ago. His current contract expires next year. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move, and we went in for him 10 years ago. I'd love Manchester United to sign Raphael Varane. The reasons is because he's a world-class centre-half. He'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. He's highly experienced. He would exceed expectations in the Premier League. And the other reason, he's got a good pedigree as a player. He's won around 18 major honours at Real Madrid. So they are the reasons. He's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's endured 10 years with them, and he's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. Jules Kounde, he's come out and said it is certain he will change clubs this summer, but nothing is done yet. Now, Sevilla recently set their asking price for Jules Kounde. It's £50 million. You know, Man United, Arsenal and Chelsea are all interested. Damasio did say not so long ago that Man United have already been in contact with Sevilla regarding Jules Kounde, and it said Sevilla have requested around €65 million. Said he's top of our list. At one point, Sevilla were demanding £68 million for Jules Kounde. And at one point it says we was prepared to pay around £61 million. I'd take Jules Kounde at Manchester United. Obviously he's nowhere near as good as Varane, but I'd still take him because his performances for Sevilla have been very, very good. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. Sevilla paid £21 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. I think his release clause is around £78 million. Real Madrid also want Jules Kounde. Yeah, but there's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. Man United still want the centre-half, despite Eric Bailly signing a new contract not so long ago. Pau Torres, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer also wants him from Villarreal. To Pau Torres' credit, he put a very good performance out. In the final. Obviously, you know the news on Jadon Sancho. Sky Sports have said that Man United remain in talks with Jadon Sancho's representatives. Man United is the most likely destination for Sancho. That's what Sky Sports said. Jadon Sancho will cost us around £80 million. Jadon Sancho has Man United transfer hopes as Borussia Dortmund are looking for replacements. Jadon Sancho said he wants his future resolved before the start of the Euros. Borussia Dortmund have already told Jadon Sancho that he can leave the club this summer. Solskjaer made Jadon Sancho a transfer priority. Despite some of the players wanting Solskjaer to sign Jack Grealish. Fabrizio Romano did say not so long ago that Man United are interested in Sancho, but he said there's been no official talks or bid yet. But yeah, Sancho to Man United is close and he expects to complete a move to Man United in the summer transfer window. Dortmund did confirm earlier on this year that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over the possible transfer, and the Manchester Evening News said that Sancho is pushing for a transfer out of Dortmund. Liverpool were in for him, Chelsea have been interested in him, and Bayern Munich entered the race not so long ago. But last summer, Jadon Sancho was our number one priority target. Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close because the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. But the reason we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Borussia Dortmund's 108 million valuation and was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund made it clear to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. But Fabrizio Romano and Bill's Christian Falk have spoken a lot about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. Jadon Sancho's endured 4 years at Dortmund. He's got a contract with them until 2023 and Dortmund paid just £7 million for him from Man City. He'd be a good signing for Man United. Sancho, the reasons is because he'd fit in our team perfectly. He would assure his goals. He can create chances, good as well. He's predominantly a right winger. Still young, he's got a lot of development in him, and he's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. You know, they do touch base a lot with each other. So there are the reasons. I'm expecting outgoings in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer did say not so long ago, though, there may not be many outgoings in the summer transfer window. So, who I want to leave? I want De Gea to leave in the summer transfer window. Obviously, De Gea recently cost us the Europa League final because he missed the penalty. Plus, he had 11 chances to save a penalty. And he should have saved at least one of them. De Gea produced his best performances after the Everton collapse in February and responded well when Dean Henderson had been given the number 1 jersey. But De Gea's now had his years at Man United. You know, he's been a long servant. He's endured 10 years at the football club. I reckon he's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. You know, De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. And he was our number 1 for a long time. Obviously now he's our second choice goalkeeper. Now obviously there has been talks of a David De Gea and Jan Oblak swap deal. Obviously to solve our number 1 crisis. I think Atletico Madrid want around 70 million for Jan Oblak. Do you think he'd be a good replacement? He said at one point, though, that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He said he's preparing to leave Man United and Man United will pay off his huge contract. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. I did say there's a very good chance he'll go back to Spain. I think we also need to offload Sergio Romero, because he's like our 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper and most of his appearances have come in the cup games. We also need to offload Lee Grant. I recall him making 1 appearance, and was that against Astana a few years ago in the Europa League. Got him on a free from Stoke. Phil Jones, I also want us to offload him, because he doesn't get in our 11. He's always been inconsistent and he's been out of injury for a long time. Jones is the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. Jones has been long serving. He's endured 10 years at Manchester United. We need to loan Brandon Williams out to obviously gain him more experience and to get a lot more opportunities, because Williams seldom plays for us. You know, he's our 3rd choice left back. Williams hardly played last season. Obviously, he did play in the Leicester defeat at Old Trafford. He played on the final game against Wolves. I think he played in the cup game against Brighton as well, did he? Williams actually played a lot of games the season before last, but that's only because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. And we played Williams on the right when we played him last season. And he's nowhere near as effective on the right as he is on the left. Delors, I think we need to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. I think we need to get rid of Andres Pereira permanently. He's out on loan with Lazio at the moment. Matic, I think we also need to offload him, because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Plus, I've got my strong reservations about him. He's a static player, always has been, and he's aging up. Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been inconsistent as Matic. But he's had some good games. The club made a mistake giving him that new 3-year contract at the start of last season. Matic has been at the club for around 4 years now. Got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. One of the best games I recall Matic having was the game against City in the EFL Cup semi-final a couple of years ago. Juan Mata, I think we should offload him. I'm expecting Manchester United to offload him. Solskjaer did say not so long ago, though, that no decision has yet been made on Juan Mata's future. Juan Mata doesn't even get in our 11, really, does he? He did play the final game against Wolves, obviously scored from the penalty spot. That was a special moment for Juan Mata. Did come on in the Europa League final, and he did play in the 2-1 defeat to Leicester. You can play Juan Mata in that number 10, or you can put him on the right-hand side. Juan Mata's current contract expires very soon. These are options trigger his contract for a further year. Don't forget, at the start of last season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's endured 7 years at Man United. I think he's had a good career with us. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. And Anthony Martial, I think we also need to offload him, because he's no longer good enough to represent the club. And he's been out with a knee injury for a while. Donny van der Beek, I think we should offload him, because he doesn't get enough starts at Manchester United. But that is the only reason, nothing to do with him being a bad player. I think Donny van der Beek only started 4 league games last season. Most of his appearances come from the bench. But it actually said not so long ago that we will reject any offers for Donny van der Beek this summer. So reflecting on that, we are reluctant to let him go, because apparently Solskjaer's got big plans for him. Donny van der Beek has endured 1 full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £40 million for Ajax last year. And he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. So the players that we do sell in the summer transfer window, we will generate money, and that will help us with our rebuilding process. But there's also a lot of players that are going to stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've got to give him credit in quite a lot of aspects, despite us losing the final. I didn't expect Solskjaer to do as well as he has done. You've got to turn around and say that he has done a good job to say the squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. And I think he's our best manager since Ferguson, because he has brought consistency back. The things I'm going to give him credit for, though, is that, in his second full season, he got us to the Europa League final. Obviously, didn't win it, that was a disappointment, but he still got us to the final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager. We went the entire season without losing away from home in the Premier League, and that was good. Very good record. Also got us a second place finish in his second full season. So you can see that progress has been made from Solskjaer's first full season. You know, last season Ollie also got us to the FA Cup quarter-final and he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. You know, Ollie did well in his first full season, got us a third place finish and guided us to 3 semi-finals. You know, I like the way he has promoted the youth. You know, he has made good signings as Man United manager so far. He has spent almost £300 million. So far he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager and he's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. And another thing I've got to credit Solskjaer for, when he got appointed in as Man United manager, he assured that everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players. And more or less everybody has been given their chances. So there are the positives. I do have my concerns as well about Solskjaer. Two of my biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and his decision making also concerns me. I think Solskjaer could be sacked next season, but if the club do eventually decide to sack Solskjaer, who will we bring in to replace him? I think we've got to get someone in with that big club mentality and someone who will suit the trappings of the club and someone who's got a good pedigree behind them. We're not really known as a sacking football club. Despite us sacking 3 managers since Ferguson retired, we sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. But Ollie does need a bit more time, you know. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We're giving the job permanently back in March 2019, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Some Man United fans thought we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether he'd be the right candidate. And some Man United fans in general thought we made a mistake giving him the job. I presume there's still some Manchester United fans that are Ollie in. There was some Man United fans demanding Ollie out after the Europa League final loss. He isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United, but whatever happens regarding Solskjaer, we'll still always adore him. He is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. I think we probably are silly giving Solskjaer new 3-year contracts because he won't see the new 3-year contract out. Ollie's still got under 1 year left on his current 3-year contract. Woodward, obviously, he said at one point that he believes Solskjaer's the right man to lead the club forward, and he did release a statement last season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players is clear. And in general, Woodward's come out to show his support for Solskjaer several times, even when we was enduring them really bad periods. Woodward's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. Obviously, the good news is he's going to be standing down at the end of the year because it got announced earlier on this year that Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. You know, Woodward's had a 16-year association with Manchester United. So who will be our new chairman to replace him? Obviously, the Glazers are still at the club. The Glazers have been at Manchester United for 16 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. There's been a lot of protests at Old Trafford against the Glazers. You can understand the fans' frustration. The reasons I want the Glazers out is because they've put us in so much debt, and I hate the way the football club has been run in general for a long time, so we've got to recommend new owners in. So yeah, like I said, they are the reasons. Joe Glazer will be attending the fans forum on the 4th of June, I think it said, and not so long ago, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Man United fans and Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League. Because don't forget, Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. At the beginning of May, Solskjaer said that the Glazers apologised to him. He said the violent incidents went too far, but he says the club need to take notice of the fans. And at one point, Ollie was angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests, because Neville had a lot to say on it. But in the last 8 years, nothing's really changed at Man United. You know, Man United have been playing catch-up. You know, we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. You know, we've overpaid for players. Our recruitment in general's been poor. You know, we've won only 4 trophies since Ferguson retired. That justifies how inconsistent we have been. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. And I think in general, just too many mistakes have been made in the last 8 years. And that's why we've been nowhere near as consistent as we'd like to have been. Was to brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired and we've spent over £1 billion on them. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. There'll be more videos coming up soon. Take care, God bless, see you all again very, very soon.